Outdoors enthusiasts to another thrilling episode of the Outdoorsman Oath podcast. I'm your host Tyler, joined by Erik. In episode 8, we're venturing into the wild with the true warrior, Ben Klusmann from SoDak Horizons. Ben is an Army veteran, devoted father, a skilled archer, and an avid bow hunter. Above all, Ben is a God-fearing man. Join us as we unravel the tales of resilience, passion, and faith that shape Ben's remarkable journey. Brace yourselves for a no-nonsense exploration of SoDak Horizons, where toughness, grit, and unwavering faith collide in the pursuit of shared knowledge and unbridled success with a touch of badassery in the exhilarating world of hunting. So welcome to the podcast. Sorry I stumbled that.
No, that's fine. That was a better intro than... Dang, I don't know if I've heard a better intro than that. Cap it right there.
That's one thing I think we're starting to pride ourselves on our intros over here.
Yeah, that was I mean, let the people sit with that. That's better than the real version. That's for dang sure.
Now we just got to figure out how to read it fluently.
That sounded pretty good. That sounded very fluent.
I don't know, right? One thing, and then I get to talking, and I'll start stumbling, and it ends up all jumbled like that.
Oh, for sure.
But
that's the good part, though.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and also thanks for being on here. So, I guess to get things kicked off here, would you mind kind of telling us a bit about yourself and kind of add to that what sparked your passion for hunting and just kind of, like I said, about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So I've actually been bow hunting since like 2004 or 5. I started before we could actually rifle hunt in South Dakota. That was my loophole around it. I got a bow certificate before I could actually take the hunter safety course. So I've been bow hunting for like almost 20 years, and I've always loved bow hunting. I started on a little bear recurve grizzly, I think is what it's called. My dad dug out of the basement when I was like almost 10, and I started shooting rabbits around the neighborhood, and then I got a compound, and then everything kind of revolved around bow hunting at that point. It was, quitting sports because, football runs in the middle of the rut, so I don't want to miss the rut, so I quit high school football, and that was my life. It was awesome. I loved it. Started duck hunting in the morning, then go to school, and then I'd go sit in a tree stand after that, and carried over into college. I went to Southeast Tech here in Sioux Falls for an associate's degree in law enforcement science, and same kind of thing. Before class in the morning, I'd be out in a duck blind, and then after my last class, I'd go out to a tree stand, and that's just my whole life's been about hunting ever since I can remember. So the only time in my life that I actually took a break from hunting was when I joined the Army. I took about a 3-year sabbatical. I got stationed down in Fort Hood, which looking back was a great missed opportunity of all that Texas has to offer as far as wild game goes. Veterans and soldiers could hunt the whole base for free, and Fort Hood is like 400 and some thousand acres of untouched huntable land, and I crapped the bed on it 100%. I didn't hunt one time while I was in the Army. So yeah, I did one deployment. I went to Africa for 9 or 10 months, and then I got out of the Army, came home right away, found myself back in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. About 3 months after I got out of the Army, I met the love of my life, who is my wife now. And we actually just celebrated our 6-year anniversary. So the 24th of February was our 6-year mark, and we have 3 beautiful children. And life is good. Life is really good right now. And I still bow hunt a lot. My wife is super awesome and lets me take a lot of crazy trips and be gone for days at a time to go just about anywhere with a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 5-year-old at home. So life is really good for me.
Where do you kind of hunt the most, I guess? Do you kind of stay in South Dakota or go all over? Or?
No, it's almost all South Dakota. I go West River. I go out by Buffalo, so you guys know where Buffalo's at. It's about a 7.5-hour drive for me here, and so I usually do that. She'll usually let me get away with it like twice a year, maybe 3 times. So I'll go out there for a few days, sometimes just a day, and hunt antelope, and then Pier is kind of where I found my nesting ground for mule deer. I really like hunting around Pier, and there's a lot of deer there. So I usually make 3 or 4 trips out there. That's only about a 3.5 hour drive, and then me and my dad own some land here. We own about 85 acres, so that's where we hunt a lot of whitetails at. So we got tree stands set up and food plots, and the best that we can manage as far as 80 acres goes. But so I try to stay in South Dakota. I went out elk hunting. I drew a cow tag this last year, so spent about 10 days out there chasing cow elk, which if I had a bull tag, I'd have been done like the second day. We got into, I think we got within 50 yards of like 10 different bulls out there, and just couldn't find a cow to save our life. So I didn't get to punch that.
Where did you say that was?
That was H1, so that was kind of out by Hill City.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So it was still South Dakota, yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of elk in the hills, but it's hard to get your bull tags for sure.
Hard to get a tag in general.
Well, them cow tags are, I didn't even use my preference points on them. Actually, I think I did. I think I had 3. But it was an archery cow tag, and there was a lot of bulls. Like, I think I missed it by a week. If I'd have been out there a week sooner, or a week. I didn't go out the first weekend. I went the second and third weekend. But we were just on bulls the whole time. Just nonstop bugles, and we were getting, we saw tons of bulls, just no cows.
Man.
Yeah, unfortunately, that happens.
Yeah. And that's part of it, that's the fun part about hunting. There's no guarantees, right? You're not guaranteed nothing.
Yeah.
So I got this really cool piece of footage that I haven't even been able to get to yet, that I got within 31 yards of this big 5x5 bull bedded down. Didn't have a clue in the world. I pulled my phone out, took some pictures, and I pulled my little camcorder out and recorded him. And then all the wind completely died all at once, and I stepped on a twig, and he cocked his head, looked straight at me, got up, and just kind of walked off over the ridge. And I'm just like, 31 yards, man, 31 yards to a bedded bull. It was the coolest hunting experience I think I've ever been a part of. Like, it was just amazing. So
that's awesome, especially with how beautiful it is out in the hills. That's just like picturesque, like you just like imagining it.
Yeah, I got a buddy that lives out there, SoDak Adventures actually. He lives out in Hill City, and he's a turkey guide out there. And so when I told him that I was going to put in for a cow tag, he was like, I know where all the elk are. Why don't you just come hang out with me for a few days and we'll go hunting? And I was like, all right, twist my arm. So that's what we did. But just no cows. So that was a little frustrating, but we were seeing bulls. We were into them. So I'm very confident that if I would have had any elk or a bull tag, we would have tagged out like first, second, or third day we were out there. That's how into the bulls we were. They just were not herding cows yet, or we were only getting the satellite bulls who didn't have cows. So, and that was my first elk hunting experience. So I truly had no idea what I was doing, and then you're hunting something that doesn't make any noise. So it was interesting. It was definitely interesting.
Yeah, and I suppose you can't even really call in cows or anything, and
I don't know how you would.
Just kind of hope you run into one of them. I've never really did much for elk hunting either, but I know the calling part's big for bulls, but...
Well, the goal was to just try to get a bull with his herd to kind of move over and just try to take over you making the cow call. But anytime we'd see bulls, there'd be 4, 5, 6 bulls bugling at each other and no cows in sight. So this one night, it was like the third night we were out there. I kid you not, I've been hunting for like 15 plus years. This was the coolest thing I've ever experienced. We pull off the road and we're about to take like a 2 or 3 mile hike back because we thought we heard one fire off. So we pull off the road quick and we're booking it, and all of a sudden we hear one fire off behind us. So we're like, well, let's just stay where we're at. So we get in this really big thicket, and all of a sudden one fires off to the left of us, the one behind us fires off again, the one in front of us fired off again. We're literally covered in bulls. And I'm like, all right, this is one of them things where it's like turkey hunting, you hear them all day long and you'll never see one. and my buddy Josh, he taps me on the shoulder and goes, he's right there. I look over this field, and 70 yards out, this bull is sitting on this little hill just bugling his head off. And then he's like, all right, well, there's one bull. So then we turn, and sure enough, about 100 yards on the other ridge, the second bull pops over and does the exact same thing. And then we turn around, and probably 200 yards on top of this hill across the road is another bull just looking at us, bugling its head off. 2 more bulls fire off on the other direction where there was no bull at. So we're literally sitting there just like, we have no idea what to do. And we're just kind of circling. Every time we hear a bull, we're just trying to find that bull and see if there's a cow with them or not. It was the craziest thing. And then it just got completely pitch black. And we just sat there for like another 40 minutes just listening to these bulls kind of sound off around us. It was absolutely insane. But I completely understand why people get hooked on elk hunting immediately. Because it is just... like every time you hear a bugle, it's just like your heart just starts pounding. Like when a deer walks in front of your tree stand that you're gonna shoot, you're just like, oh my gosh! And I'm like, I don't even have a tag for a bugle. A bugle means nothing to me. And it was just an amazing experience. Oh man, elk hunting.
Sure, now you have me wanting to go find one.
Yeah, it'd be nice if you could get one even every few years in this state, but the one every 15 to 20 years, that's a long time to wait.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about elk population in South Dakota to say anything on it. I wish it would be more like a Colorado or Montana where it's over the counter, but I'm hoping in the near future we can get there. You know, like, it'd be awesome if, like, my kid, when he's 15 or 20 years old, South Dakota's an over-the-counter state, but like I said, I don't know enough about elk to know if that's possible or how long that actually takes, but I wish we could do it.
Yeah, I just don't know if there's enough habitat with all the prairie around.
Yeah.
But...
yeah.
So you said you do a lot of hunting up by buffalo. Is that mainly goats up that way you're chasing?
Yeah, there's actually quite a few mule deer up there too, but it's all that what is it, old 85 or old 81? It's the highway pulling up.
I think it's old 85.
Yeah, and it's just covered in public land on both sides for miles, and so we just go up there, find a spot where nobody's at, do a little glassing. There's a couple other spots further north of that spot that we found a lot of goats, but a lot of private land too, so it's a lot harder to get on them. But there's so many more goats out. I feel like there were so many more goats out this last year than there has been in a few years. Just with the amount that we saw, it was way more. But granted, the last 2 years I've only been out for one day, so I just thought we saw an abnormally large amount of goats.
So have you harvested any goats with your bow?
No. So
I feel that.
6 years of goat hunting, 5 arrows, 0 hits. Let that sink in.
That's better than me. I think for the 2 years I've been goat hunting out here, I got because we moved out. My wife and I moved out here like almost 3 years ago now. But I think the closest I got to a goat was 91.5 yards or something like that, and I knocked my arrow. I was trying to range him with my little rangefinder, and I kept hitting the grass in front of me. So I popped up, and they can see miles away, so he's looking at me, and then I knocked an arrow through back, popped up again, and he was already gone. I was like, holy smokes.
Yeah, goats they're like, I don't even know how to describe them. They're just insane. I had a 39-yard shot that I pooched. Same kind of thing, rangefinder. I popped up over this embankment and I ranged him, and I must have ranged significantly further behind him because the reading I got was 63 yards. And I went, that seems really, really far. And I went to go do it again and it wouldn't click, and I just went, okay, 63 yards. So I adjusted my pins, about a foot over its back, and I went, I knew that was too far. Why did I compensate by something different? So that was fun to watch that one roll over. Yeah, I've shot at 5 and I've missed every single time.
Well, maybe this year will be the year.
That's what I've been saying that for 4 years now. I mean, I can't miss much more. I can't do it. No, it's been, once again, it's been awesome opportunities. You know, getting 50, 60 yards from an antelope is insane. I've been lucky to have topography. I'm not super sneaky, if you can't tell, but topography is my best friend. So you get behind a hill and then you just kind of pop up behind them. But goat hunting is probably my arch nemesis. I can never seem to connect with goats. Don't know why.
Yeah, I feel like that's why I don't even want to buy a tag every year. It's just so much easier to wait and get a rifle tag every couple of years and shoot them at 300-400 yards. Because especially a lot of the ones that I generally find, there is nothing in between you and them. It is grass that's about 2 inches tall, and there's no sneaking up to them very close. Hopefully, I know a lot of times we look for like hay fields or something where there's a bunch of hay bales in them. We can kind of use those, but it seems like every time we find one, they're still in the open spot where you're 200 yards from them and closing that last little distance.
They're definitely a different beast, but there's about 5 different spots that I have now that I don't even necessarily like try to glass. I just stalk up on them. And I can get to a spot where I'm within 150 yards of them if I do it right without busting them. Now that happens about 1 in every 4 times, so take it with a grain of salt. But there's these little pockets that they have that are just kind of tucked away behind everything, and these, you know, out in all that public land by Belfouche, in between Belfouche and Buffalo, there's all these tiny little pockets that if you're not down in there, you don't know. Like, there was one that we found that was like 10.5 feet deep that you can't tell from anywhere. Unless you were looking at onX, it would just look like this plain prairie. But it dips down, and you can't even see the road from it. And there's goats in there 9 times out of 10. So it's just these tiny little pockets that you can't even see from a lot of glassy knobs or the road, and it's just a safe place that they don't even worry about people being in because no one can see them.
Yeah, they definitely have some good brains on them. We what was it, this past season we were up in Buffalo. We ran into these dudes from Ohio, and they were like, "Yeah, we've been chasing the same herd for 3.5 miles." We're like, "You're not catching them, man. Like, might as well give up."
Yeah, I love seeing the people's spirit leaves their body. With like, yeah, I just put the 4 stock on this herd. We got within 200. I'm like, man. They're gone. You're not getting closer than 100. I mean, it's just not happening. They're on you now. But yeah,
it's like that damn herd. You know where, like, when you come off like from Riva towards Buffalo, and there's that big cell tower there, and there's always that herd in that field with that old shed in it. I probably chased them goats probably 10 times. Never got close to anywhere near them. Them things are just on their toes all the time.
Yeah, I don't know. The best way to describe them is they're like on crack, just constantly. Like, even when they're bedded down, they're like jittery, just like jumping around, like, what's going on? The blade of grass moves, what's going on? And it's just, like, one time we stocked up, we got like 150 yards, we're low crawling this whole time, and a car drives by 300, 400 yards away, and they decide that was their cue to get up and run away. Cars have been driving by the whole day. The whole morning they were driving by. That one was just final straw. I'm done with it. Not happening.
Have you had them where you're coming back from a stalk and you have one sitting next to the truck?
Yeah. Yes. Not sitting next to the truck, but jump the road and they're right there. That's frustrating too. Or when you're going to stalk one group and you bump another group that you didn't see, and then they go and link up with the group that you're going to, and then they all run off together.
Had that happen a few times.
I had one that we decoyed in from 500 to 200, and when he got within range of the decoy, a buck a little larger than the decoy but smaller than the other one popped up in between us and him, and then they started fighting and completely ignored us for about 2.5 hours, and then they never came back. Yeah, man. I mean, goats are it drives me nuts when I see these dudes go out and they're like, first time goat hunting, and they're holding up like a Boone and Crockett size, just this massive goat, and I'm like, what did you mean you got 22-yard shot? Thanks, that's awesome. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
Really
Well, they won't tell you though. They're on private land and they're sitting over a water hole and they're there every day.
Whatever the case is, I'm still just like, I'm so happy for you. I'm so glad you shot a big one right away in your first year. You're just spoiled now. Now you're never going to want to go antelope hunting again because you've already shot a huge one. So
They get suckers like us that just go out, get all sweaty for nothing, and come back empty-handed eating tag soup for dinner.
Game fishing parks can use that $40 every year, okay? I'm just saying.
Yeah, hopefully they're putting it to something good, because there's been a lot of them.
Yep, absolutely.
So, are you mainly an archery hunter, or do you kind of dabble in the rifle world too?
I do dabble with rifle. I'll put in for a rifle antelope once in a while. I'll put in. I got points for West River rifle, and then I always put in for East River rifle, but I don't really hunt with a rifle much. In South Dakota, you can actually hunt with a lesser weapon. So if you have a rifle tag, you can fill it with a crossbow or a bow. So that's generally what I do. If I get any rifle tags, I just pump the bow out and have an extra tag. That has literally only worked out for me 2 years of ever doing it. But it was 2 years that I shot 5 deer with my bow, so it was a good year. But yeah, I don't mind hunting with a rifle, but it doesn't seem the same after you've been sitting in a deer stand with a bow and you have does walking at 10 yards and it's not the same.
So what do you run for a setup with your bow?
So this year I have a Sequel 33 coming from Darton, OD green and black limbs. I'm really excited about it. It's one of their new flagships for 2024. And then I got my Prelude that I shot last year. I have it broken down, taken apart. I'm just going to throw the old parts on it and send it. I got HHA Tetra sight, and then I have the Dark Owl Archery sight housing, custom 3-pin. If you guys have not checked out Dark Owl yet, check him out. He's out of Spearfish. He's a really, really cool dude. He's got a really good product too. And then the integrated QAD rest, and probably tight spot quiver, and then one of my mini hot shot releases with the bow hitch and the advanced outdoor technology release mount. And then I think I'm going to be running
one of your releases.
Hot shot.
Is that something you like, your product?
No. Hot shot releases. They are an awesome archery company. Check them out.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm following now.
No, yeah, they're just a release company. So, I got 10 or 12 of their releases that I just love. They're amazing releases. And then I think I'm going to be running micro shafts this year for arrows. I'm thinking X Impact. Get a little light, fast arrows flying out of that thing. Get a good 290, 300 feet per second.
Is that generally what you go with? Is more of a lighter arrow?
So I dabbled with heavy arrows for like a very short amount of time. I bought some 100 grain inserts and I was just playing with them, and I shot one deer with a heavy insert, and at 30 yards at 30-inch draw and 450 grain arrow, I'm passing through deer every time. So adding an extra 100 grains didn't do a whole lot for me. I shot 550 for a year, and then I actually stopped because I like shooting distance. And that was in the tree grove that I shoot in. I need less clearance. I didn't have enough clearance to get past 80 yards. So I stopped shooting them, and I haven't noticed any difference before. I've never actually mixed arrow components before. I just build them with how they come. So like I have an arrow set up right now that I'm shooting out of my backup bow that's 405 grains. It shoots really, really fast, really, really flat. I've had zero issues with it. And so the heavy arrow game, I don't really play with it. 450 is usually where I land at, just with the builds that I do and the size arrows that I need. But with a small or a light GPI, 400 grains I can get, which is fast. So,
and you mentioned you shoot a Darton bow. Would you be able to kind of tell us about them? I personally haven't heard of them.
Darton is actually the oldest compound bow manufacturer in the United States. In fact, I'm going to say something that anybody who's ever known anybody that has shot Darton is going to go, every dude that shoots Darton says that. But I'm going to say it anyway. So most of the major bow companies are renting patents from Darton. So just about all bow companies are borrowing technology from Darton because it's been around for so long. So the owner, Rex Darlington, who just recently sold it to Randy Kitts, he was a genius. He had all this technology and stuff that he got patents for, and then he rented the patents out to other bow companies, and that's kind of what kept Darton above water. And now that Randy Kitts has taken over, he's putting some of that technology onto bows and sending it out for people to use. So like this last year, they dropped 5 brand new bows, like from the ground up. 2 target bows, 3 flagships, the Consequence, the Sequel, and then the Sequel 31 and 33, and then there's the Emergence, I think, and that's a youth model bow for like 5 to 15-year-olds. But they're a really cool company. They put Bible verses on every limb of every bow that they send out. They're very Christ-oriented. They're very people-oriented. I know a few guys that actually work in their factory, and they love it. They're very good people to work for. And they put out great bows. I mean, I would stack. I mean, I shot Matthews prior to switching to Darton. So I mean, I was shooting a Traverse, a brand new 2019 Traverse. In 2020, I got a Maverick XT from Darton, and I hung the Traverse up. I was pretty set on Darton. So they're quality bows, man. They're very tunable, low vibration, super light, really fast, smooth draws. I mean, it's definitely. And this isn't something that I talk about because I think they're in the same playing field regardless, but they're like $300 cheaper. Like their new flagships are like $11.99, whereas everybody else hit that $1,500-$1,600 mark. And then the Consequence is actually like $700.
That's not bad. It's crazy. We were talking earlier about how expensive bows are getting for new models, and it's insane.
Yeah. But definitely, if you guys are interested, let me know. I got like 4 or 5 Dartons right now. I can set them up. We can have a fun day shooting. See what you think.
Yeah, I'd definitely be interested for my next one. I just ended up buying a new one last year, but every couple of years I usually try to upgrade, so I'd be interested in the future. The Phase 4.
Yeah.
From Matthews.
What bows did you shoot?
I had the Verdict, that 2019 bow before it, and I liked that bow, so I just stuck with the Matthews. Actually, my wife came home with it. I didn't even know she was going to buy it. She just came home with it one day, or last year for Father's Day, so I wasn't going to complain.
That's a good wife. It's a good wife.
I went from shooting a 2006 Martin Firecat to that Verdict that he had. He sold it to me, so.
Nice. I had a Matthews Adrenaline that I bought in 2008 or 2009, and I shot it until I bought the Traverse in 19. I still have it. I'll never sell the bow. It was the best bow. It's amazing.
Yeah, definitely interested in those Dartons now you're talking about them. I was looking at their website, and Now, what you're saying with the price, that's kind of a selling point for if you're buying the new bow.
Well, and I mean, when you're comparing price, I mean, for me, everything's kind of in that, you know, you have to have a scale. So if it's expensive, it better be amazing. And the cheaper it gets, the more lax I am about how amazing it is, right? If you put a Matthews lift and a Sequel 33 blindfolded someone and shot them back to back, I don't know if you can tell the difference. I really don't. Now, granted, I've only shot the lift one time, and it was not fitted for me correctly. It was somebody else's bow. But I'm going to stick by what I said. I mean, and let's I'm going to preface this right now. There's not a bad bow manufacturer out there. Okay? There's every bow manufacturer in the last 5 years is putting out an amazing product. There's no arguing that. The only thing that matters to most shooters, which is you, me, anybody that's not shooting professionally, is the grip. How does it feel in your hand? Most of the other stuff, I don't notice a lot of the other stuff unless I'm focusing on it, right? So it's really just how the grip feels. Now, it sounds stupid to say that until you find a grip that you hate, and then all of a sudden, grip matters. Everything else, as long as the draw cycle is fairly smooth, as long as it's pushing decent feet per second, as long as it's shooting flat, it's not jumping out of your hand, those are all things you don't notice unless you're consciously trying to notice. If you're just shooting, like when I'm out back just shooting in my yard, I'm not noticing how much it's jumping. I'm not noticing the vibration. I'm just having fun shooting. Now, when you're, you know, a professional archer, like a lot of people, not me, that's all stuff that they notice and they can really pinpoint. I don't know if most people can notice, especially once you gear it up, you throw some stabilizers on it, you put a quiver on it, put a sight on it, a lot of that stuff dissipates relatively quickly once you start loading it down. So every bow company is making marvelous bows, and I'm sure I'm not discounting any bow company. I just like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into them because I'm in the same boat. When I shoot, I don't really notice anything from one to the next or anything. I do notice the one I shot before I originally switched to Matthews was like a Bowtech Carbon Night or something, and it was super, super light. And I had that when I first moved to South Dakota, and with how light it was, I noticed like staying on target on longer shots got to be difficult. And then when I switched to the Matthews, I was like, holy cow. It was heavier to carry and stuff, but when you were taking like 100-yard shots and stuff, it was way easier to stay on target with. But other than that, yeah, I didn't really notice a whole lot difference in feel or anything.
Yeah, and let's like that putting weight up front can solve a lot of those problems. And so even if that carbon was something you really loved, you could make it not do that at distance, you know? And so with the right gear, you can make any bow shoot the way you want it to shoot. And so, but like you said, when you're out shooting, 9 times out of 10, you're not going, oh, that really jumped forward when I shot. Oh, that vibration is crazy. You know, you notice the oddballs. You know, like when I take my quiver off, I notice a lot of vibration on my bow because I never shoot with my quiver off. And so that's obviously stuff that I notice. But every other time, I mean, you put decent stabilizers on, rest, sight, a lot of that vibration is dissipating already. And then if you put enough weight on that front stabilizer, it's not jumping out your hand. I mean, professional grade archers notice a lot of the stuff that they talk about in a lot of those bow review videos when it's a bare bow. But that's why you put stuff on it. So that's my 2 cents. Shoot a bow that you like, and that's about it. Just shoot.
So do you, I saw on your Instagram there in your links, do you, what do they call it? It was a mountain archery competition.
Mountain Archery Fest.
Yep, that's what it was. So do you shoot like a lot of those types of 3D shoots, like tack or stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. So that's actually why I built the range in my backyard, was because I like shooting 3D. And so I have a 70 to 100 yard 3D range in my backyard.
I try to go to a HHA USA event a year, which is a 3D shoot out in Wisconsin, put on by HHA Sports. All the proceeds from that is donated to the Honor Flight. So if you guys are interested in some 3D shoots, it's generally a pretty fun shoot, and it all goes to a good cause. So check out HHA USA. Chris Ham, stand-up dude, amazing guy, brother in Christ. He puts those on, and he's a solid dude, and so it's always fun to try to get out there. And then I try to make at least one Mountain Archery Fest event, which is sprawled out throughout the country. So this year I think there's 7 or 8 of them, and so I generally try to hit one, but this year I think I'm going to make 2. We'll be going to Illinois with the family, usually a family vacation we take, which is awesome. But MAF is super family friendly, 100%. Like, my kids will come out to the range, they'll play with the bows, they're an amazing place to bring kids to get them involved in the outdoors, and archery specifically. And so that'll be one family vacation that my wife lovingly agrees to every year. And then I'll be taking another one out to Shell, which is about 10 hours. That's Shell, Wyoming. And I got a couple guys that want to head out to that one, so we're putting together a crew. If y'all are interested, there's always room for more. We can caravan out there, we'll shoot some foam, and then we'll caravan back.
What'd you say that one was called?
Shell, Wyoming. That one is July, I believe.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that, because we shoot tack every year up at Terry Peak.
Okay, gotcha. Yep.
Have you been to that one?
No, actually, so the year that I was going to go to that one, I ended up going to Mountain Archery Fest. And I've never looked back. Honestly, I've seen videos every year of tacks, waiting 2, 3, 4 hours in line. And yeah, I've never really, after I found Mountain Archery Fest, I never really wanted to experience a tack, because Mountain Archery Fest, if you have to wait more than 10 minutes, it's a pretty busy day. And so that's always been, you can shoot 2, 3 courses a day if you really put your mind to it and want to, because they just space the tee times out well enough, and there's 5 different courses you can shoot on, and then there's a whole novelty range that you can shoot to win stuff. And so yeah.
So for, at least for me with tack, I actually haven't really experienced that, other than one time last year we kind of did, but it was all because, like YouTubers and stuff, they were taking like 7, 8 shots a piece at the target, where most people take their one, maybe a second shot, they go grab their arrows and move on, where they all had their huge fancy cameras and everything else, so they were videotaping every shot, and each one of them shot like 7, 8 arrows, and it was, people were like yelling down the hill at them, and I think actually someone that worked there came and finally was like, you guys can't do this anymore.
Wow. I did not know that, but it definitely explains it a lot.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily, I don't think, the Total Archery Challenge that's doing it. I think it's the shooters that are participating in it that slow everything down.
Interesting.
Even that same group, they, like he was saying, shoot their 7 shots, film that, get down by the target, and sit there, and this is where I hit the smoost at 100 yards. And it's like, no one cares, let's move on. And there's probably 12 groups going up the hill, it was insane.
Oh, that sounds like a nightmare.
It was only the one course, 1 year that I've experienced it, and I've shot it quite a few times. Other than that, it's been pretty smooth, and you get to your target, you might wait a minute while someone's pulling out their arrows, but usually, they've already shot by the time you get to the next target.
Really? That's interesting. I'm glad you said that. Now I really want to check out tack.
At least that's my experience, but I've also only shot the Terry Peak one. I think I've been going like 4 or 5 years now.
What days do you normally shoot?
We try to shoot Friday and Saturday. but it sells out so damn fast that we just try to get what we can, but because I mean we're on there. I think this year was March 8th.
Yeah.
I think is when you sign up March 8th at like 9 a.m. and we're on there. It's like at 9 a.m. and last year even we had it like go back on the website at 9:30 because you have to wait 30 minutes. It's too busy.
Wow.
Yeah. So the sign up's actually probably the part that takes the longest waiting.
For the most part, too, everyone that usually shoots, they're actually pretty cool up there. Like, we met some guys from North Dakota, and they ended up shooting the Saturday course with us, but it's like anything. There's a few oddballs, that kind of bad apples in the group that make it miserable for everyone else, but overall, it's a pretty good time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's really cool. That's amazing. I'm glad that the one at Terry Peak is good, because that was the one I was gonna go to, and so I still might. There's March 8th, you said.
That's a sign up, but I think when is the shoot? July. It's usually the end of June or early July. I think is usually when it is. So
Gotcha.
I don't know when that Mountain Fest one you were talking about is.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up. I think it's June or July, but interesting, for sure.
So you got a lot of the hunts planned for... Oh, sorry. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, you guys both said that you just moved to South Dakota. Where'd y'all move from?
Well, so I was stationed out in New Jersey, and then when I got out, it was the first place to offer me a job, but I was originally from Minnesota. So I went from Minnesota to New Jersey and then out here, and I kind of liked the outdoorsy. I hated the East Coast, big city stuff, so I was pretty happy to get out of that. Yeah, I love it out here and don't ever plan on leaving. I love the hills.
I was stationed in North Carolina and then got out the Marine Corps, moved to Virginia for 6 months with the wife after we got married, and then got a job offer out here, so we've been here since.
What do y'all do out there?
Well, we're firefighters for federal. So we were both we were both firefighters in the service too. So stayed in the federal system, but I've been out here 8 years now.
Wow.
So
that's awesome. So you guys were both Marines then?
No, I was Air Force.
Okay. Gotcha.
I just left that part out earlier.
That's awesome. Well, thank you both for your service. That's amazing.
Well, thank you for yours.
Absolutely. If you guys should seriously look into HHA USA for real.
Yeah, we'll have to keep in touch with you, maybe because he's kind of from Wisconsin too. So if it's in Wisconsin,
it is. It's at the Vortex headquarters. Let me. I'm not being rude. I'll send you this before I forget. This is the first shoot. This is the one I'm planning on going to at least.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to look into it, and even the one out in Wyoming, because that might not even be that far from us. I'm not exactly sure where Shelley, Wyoming is, or Shell, Wyoming.
Shell, it's like 10 hours from me, so it's basically you just hop on 90 West and just book it.
Okay, so yeah, it's about 5 hours from here.
Yeah.
So.
But it's out in the middle of nowhere. Like you got to up in the bighorns. So like the drive up, you lose service, and there's no civilization for like an hour and a half. So get gas. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it'd be fun too, because like even for me, I've been doing the total archery one here at Terry Peak long enough now. I've shot pretty much all the courses, and there's not a whole lot of changes from year to year, so it'd be fun to get out and kind of shoot some courses that are a little different.
For sure. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's shooting foam. Can you have a bad time shooting foam? No, you can't.
Unless you bust all your arrows, and then you're picking up arrows that people missed with, and then it kind of gets weird.
So the first year I went to Mountain Archery Fest, I brought 24 arrows because I was like, I'm not running out of arrows. I came home with 7. Okay. Last year, I went to Mountain Archery Fest with 12 arrows. I did not lose a single one. The first year that I've ever been to a Mountain Archery Fest event that I have not lost a single arrow. I broke one. Didn't lose it. Counts.
I'd be a liar if I said I never lost an arrow. I brought 7 to this last tack and figured out my sight was off, so I kept hitting the rocks, and I was pissed. My wife wasn't too happy because I have to buy more arrows, and it's a whole ordeal.
That's the worst. Oh man.
But this guy here, he's kind of a rock star with the bow. No Robin Hood.
I don't know about that. I lost quite a few last year too. Well, we shot the prime course last year, which is supposed to be one of their harder ones, and I mean, I swear they put those targets just with rocks on every angle and rocks in front of them, and I mean, they I think want you to lose as many arrows as possible.
Yeah, I've seen some of those shots where it's like the target's here and the rock's here. It's like you either have to take a bad shot or try to drop the arrow in behind it, and
yeah, there's some that'll be like a 110-yard bomb with nothing but rocks behind a small bear target, and so you're gonna and a little rock in front of it, so you have maybe that big of a little area to hit. So it's they gotta keep their vendors happy though, because they got Victory and Easton vendors and stuff there. So
you can just build arrows right there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Because you bought inserts for yours.
Yeah, the one year, I needed field tips and inserts and stuff, and I've been able to just get them all up there. So
nice.
Yeah, it's usually a pretty fun event. I like going. I know we plan to go again this year, so.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check it out then. Them YouTube videos lied to me. It's probably those guys that were holding up the whole line.
Yeah, it was probably those guys that you were watching. Yeah, that got kind of annoying.
So, we had Armando over at Bowhitch on our last episode. How'd you kind of get with him and start hunting with him? He was a pretty cool cat.
Armando is one of the coolest cats I know. So I met him at a Mountain Archery Fest event, actually. It was my first one. We went to Purgatory, Colorado, and I was walking up to the mountain, I want to say it was Saturday morning, and he goes, "Hey man, you need a bow hitch?" And I was like, "No, I don't, thank you." And he's like, "All right, when you change your mind, come find me." And I was like, "Cool." So I shot the whole course all the way down, and I went, maybe a bow hitch wouldn't be a horrible idea. So on my way down, he goes, "Hey man, you want to try a bow hitch?" And I was like, "Sure, throw it on, I'll try it." So he threw on the blaze orange one that I still have because I made him give it to me. And I shot a whole nother course with it that day. And I came down from the mountain and I was like, "Dude, I'm never taking this off my bow. How much?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll get you one right here." And I was like, "No, like I want the orange one. How much?" And he's like, "Dude, we brought the orange one so we could, like, so people wouldn't want to steal it because it's an orange color." And I was like, "I guarantee you every single person is going to want to buy this one, and I'm going to be the one to do it. How much is it going to cost?" And he goes, "It's $50, man." And I was like, $50, here you go. So I took it. And he said the rest of the event, every person came up and asked where the orange ones were and how come they couldn't buy it. And I said, "I told you, you need to bring orange in. It's a very popular." And that's the story. That's the end of it. And then from there, we've just been friends. We've been talking. Obviously, buying a bow hitch for every bow that I need and just rocking it, man. I mean, Armando's a stud. He's just such a good dude, and he's literally the guy that would take his shirt off the back and give it to you if you needed it. And he's just an amazing guy, and him and the bow hitch are just doing amazing things, and they're gonna hit the peak, and they're gonna stay there for years because it's just an awesome product. It's super light, super uncomplicated, and who wants to carry their bow? It sucks.
Yeah, that's their motto. Carrying your bow sucks.
Uh-huh. No, but it saved
Yeah,
me.
he said he came out and went on a hunt with you.
What was that?
He said he came out and did a hunt with you, I think.
Well, we were supposed to when he was out in winter, or he came out here. We were supposed to link up.
Oh, so you guys didn't actually go hunting then?
I was supposed to come out and film for him, but I ended up having to work. So it didn't work out.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But, no, we've shot a few courses at Mountain Archery Fest, and there was a while there we were talking on the phone like 2 or 3 times a week, for like a couple months, maybe a year or two. Just a really good dude, loves the Lord, loves helping people, and he's the kind of company that you just want to have. He lights up a room when he walks in. He's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Even that, his random acts of kindness, I thought that was really cool too.
He did another giveaway this year. He gave away an Hawaiian Axis elk hunt. Or not elk hunt. An Axis Hawaiian bow hunt. Last year. And he did it again this year. Who does that?
That's definitely a good character.
Yeah. He's an awesome dude. You can't find him much better than him. But.
So, well, that's pretty cool that I guess we have that mutual friend there with him. Because I remember seeing on your in your bio, or not in your bio, but in your links on Instagram, him, and he actually recommended us to you. He said, "Hey, check out SoDak Horizons. My buddy Ben over there." So then we hit you up, and here we are. So,
absolutely, yeah, he's a great guy, and like I said, I will preach until my head falls off about the bow hitch because it's just a simple product, and simplicity in my mind is the king of all kings. You have to be simple. It's very easy to install and it's very easy to use. Doesn't add a lot of weight, and the people that run it are amazing people. I mean, you can't beat that combination.
So I guess I didn't even look for the orange one when I ordered mine. Does he have the orange one on his website now? No, he doesn't sell it. So you got the only one.
There's one in existence. And I have it.
Dang. You should get his autograph on it.
For a while he had a number 1 on it because it was just their number 1 prototype. And so I don't know how many videos I posted. It was years later. And he goes, dude, if you just take a little bit of rubbing alcohol, that 1 will come right off. And I said, I keep marking it on there because I want it on there so everybody knows this is the one and only orange bow hitch there is. That's it. So, yeah, awesome dude.
That's sweet. Wow. That's sweet. You got the prototype.
I know. He had like a pink one and a lime green one and an orange one. And he let me buy the orange one. And that was the start of our blossoming friendship. Just an amazing dude.
That's awesome. So, hunts this year, what you got coming up?
So, turkey season starts April. I'm hopefully going to draw a shotgun tag because South Dakota you can hunt with a lesser weapon, so I'll be shooting. I got an archery tag in the mail already. Hopefully getting a shotgun tag so I can double up on turkeys this year. And then we jump into HHA USA, MAF, and that takes us into antelope. Now don't tell my wife this, but I'm hoping to plan a 3 to 4 day antelope camp out towards Buffalo later in September and do like a antelope / mule deer hunt camp out there. So I got a few buddies that are interested in that. Keep your ears to the grindstone on that. Plans may change, but as of now, I found that if I make the plans and then I ask my wife, she's more accepting of letting them happen. And so those are the big one, and then just whitetail. I got a few different whitetail spots out here, and that's about it. Pretty easy year this year. I did get invited on a Montana elk hunt, over-the-counter unit. A buddy of mine has a buddy that used to guide out there, and so those two were going to go, and I got invited along, and I really, really wanted to go, but I herniated a disc a few months ago in my back, and it sucks. I'm still dealing with it. shooting pain down my leg. I can barely walk. Not good sleep. Just a bunch of horrible crap. Not that I want to deal with before turkey season. And so I figured that was a sign from God saying, hey, you probably shouldn't do a 25-mile backcountry elk hunt in grizzly camp when you don't have a good back. And I went, yeah, probably shouldn't do that right now. So that's a 2025 goal that I have kind of notched in there somewhere, but definitely that would have been the big hunt this year. So,
well, hopefully you have some success.
Yeah, me too.
Get that 6 shot on an antelope and actually get one.
Right? That's the goal. Stop missing. That should be my slogan.
Yeah.
What about
That's
you guys?
awesome.
Any big hunts?
Yeah. Next month we're heading down to southern New Mexico for a barberry sheep hunt. Over the counter. Our buddies, they're tags Gila Monster Outdoors.
Okay.
And yeah, we had them on, I think it was the third episode on the podcast. And they invited us down there for an over-the-counter hunt, so we got our tickets yesterday, so we're looking forward to that. And then I tried to shoot turkeys in April. Haven't been successful. I don't know what it is.
It's crazy because even like every day at my house, because he'll even just resort to coming and sitting in my house and shooting one out of my back door, basically. And every single day at my house, there'll be 40 turkeys out there. As soon as he shows up, they are gone. I mean, nowhere to be found.
You know, I have a love-hate relationship with turkeys. And it's mostly hate. I'm not gonna lie. This was actually the first year I got an archery turkey after 5 years of hunting. This is the first shot I had. I have not had a shot with my bow in 5 years. They just wouldn't cooperate. I'd move and they'd run away. Whatever the case may be. This is the first shot, and I got it. It's this little itty-bitty Jake. I don't even care. I'm so happy that I finally got a turkey with my bow. And so this year I'm obviously pushing my luck because I'm obviously an expert now. And I'm going to try to shoot 2 with my bow.
Yeah, I buy 2 tags every year, and my wife gets mad at me. She's like, what's so hard about shooting them? Because the first 2 years ago, I shot one with my bow, and I was thinking it was like, kind of like shooting with a shotgun. Okay, I'll aim at the base of the neck, and what passed right through and didn't find it. He found it later, and then last year I just didn't get a shot, but I don't get it. It just blows my mind. And then you see people online, they shoot one like it's nothing.
I just love the people. I watch the turkey tours. They'll have like 5 or 6 different states picked out, and they'll go on this huge tour to shoot a turkey in every state. And they're like, if we don't get a turkey today or tomorrow, then we're going to have to move on to the next state. And I'm like, it takes me like 7 straight days of hunting to even see a turkey. And you're giving yourself 2 days. Doesn't make sense, but obviously they're...
Yeah, if you got the right place, so.
Yep, absolutely.
But I know, like I said, like my backyard, other than when he's there, there's turkeys there.
Big old toms too. I'll leave his house because I'll just be tired of sitting there for 8 hours, and he'll send me a picture right when I'm halfway to my house. This big tom just sitting there looking at him. I'm like, you son of a gun.
Yes. If that's not turkey hunting,
But yeah, there's them. That's something.
I got a Maine black bear hunt in September. I'm going to do with my wife. It's our 10th anniversary this year, so that's where we're headed. We went there on our first anniversary, so we're going to do it again for our 10th. We didn't shoot a black bear the first time, but she's always wanted to shoot a black bear, so we booked that, and then we'll do a week hunting black bear, and then a week down by the coast in Maine as well.
That's awesome. Black bear is definitely on the bucket list.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that, especially since she was the one that kind of wanted to do it. I was like, that sounds good to me.
And you want to do anything else on it? You want a Canadian moose hunt? You want want to go elk hunting in the
Yeah,
Rockies.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, what else
Let's
do you
go
want
to
to do? Absolutely. That's awesome. Those are some awesome hunts. I can't wait to see how they pan out for you guys.
Yeah, hopefully we have some success. We'll see on this sheep hunt first coming up here. Well, it's just under a month we'll be down there. So
awesome. Oh, that's awesome, dudes. I can't wait. Good luck.
thank you.
Are you guys
Yeah,
going
you
for
have
any
to,
animals specifically?
Sorry, you broke up a little. What was that?
Are you guys going for anything specific or just any Barbary sheep?
Yeah, just pretty much anything. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna. We're only gonna be down there 2 full days of hunting, so
Get
we'll
what you
probably, yeah.
Yeah, they know where the sheep are, they said, so looking forward to getting down there. And different country for sure, or different environment, I guess, with being in southern New Mexico with the desert and all that.
For sure. Oh, that's
It's kinda
awesome.
wild. They posted a video they were glassing, and just so you don't see this every day, and then they had like a phone clip for their spot and glass, and it was one of them coyotes that smuggled the illegals across. So he's just sitting there drinking his water in the middle of nowhere, and they're like, wow, that's kind of interesting.
Different. I think you need a different tag for that.
Yeah, I don't know if our government would give out too many of them.
Probably not.
But yeah, and then those hunts,
And whatever we draw for tags here, hopefully we can get a few. He should be able to get a rifle antelope for sure, and I think a hills deer, and hopefully I can get a West River deer. I think with the points that we got for rifle, and then we'll get our bow tags too.
Awesome.
Yeah, I still got a while on elk. I just looked today, I got 7 points, so hopefully in the next 10 years I'll get one.
I mean, you're better off. I had 3. I said, it's not even worth it for me. I'm not going to wait 20 years.
Yeah, it gets to be a long time.
Uh-huh.
oh well. Shoot, I think that gets us up to speed here. And any closing thoughts or anything you want to talk about on the podcast?
No, do you guys do a lot of bow hunting, or do you do more rifle hunting, or are you kind of the mixed breed?
I'm mixed. I just like hunting. I usually hit rifle season a little harder just because I got my vacation planned and everything, and I got more time with my bow, but I like both of them about the same. I just like being out.
I guess like the science behind archery, but he's kind of got me more into rifle hunting. Like, I just got a can finally, so I'm excited to throw that on my rifle and get out with that.
Well, and actually every year there's a long-range shooting course in Beersford that I go to, so
Okay.
that's kind of got me into the rifle hunting a little more too, just because we'll shoot. I think the one year we shot up to like almost 1,500 yards in that class, so
That's a poke.
yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's right down the road from you, so.
Definitely. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, I think Orion Training Groups who puts it on.
That sounds really familiar, actually.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's probably 5 or 6 miles, I guess, even further south of Beersford, but I know it's a Beersford address, out in all the farm fields and stuff.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So
Yeah, I'll have to look that up.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. A Navy SEAL sniper puts it on, and then there's just a farmer that owns all the land there and stuff that is friends with them. So
Interesting.
Yeah, it was great talking to you, and hopefully we can meet up in the future and shoot some archery together.
For sure. Thanks for having me on, guys. And anytime you're East River, let me know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like you said, thanks for being on here, and it was great chatting with you. And definitely gonna look into that Shell, Wyoming, and that map you're talking about. And hopefully we can link up for one of them, or if you go to Terry Peak, we usually camp up there. So
For sure. Absolutely, yeah. Let me know. That'd be awesome.
yeah, well, thank you for your service, and thank you for your time for being on here, and look forward to staying in touch with you.
Ditto. Same to you guys. Thanks for both your service. You guys have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.